Okay, so in the interest of time, we'll just start. From this lecture, we are going to talk about colloidal processing, the fundamentals about so-called colloidal processing, the fine particle, ceramic particle suspension in solution and process them. We're going to talk about the fundamentals, a little bit of science behind them. The first part is colloidal suspension. As you all would know, it contains two, quite often at least, two distinct phases. As I show here, to get something like this, a jar, porcelain jar, or if you do tape casting, to get these types of complex shape, whether complex or a thin kind of like layer, you have to go through a suspension, a slurry, and pour them into a mold using so-called slip uh, casting method, or cast them onto a carrier film, tape casting. For these, we have to use so-called colloidal suspension. The particles are suspended or dispersed in the liquid phase. So naturally, for this suspension, there's always the so-called continuous or liquid phase. We call them sometimes medium or dispersion phase. That gives you the fluid capability. The other phase, of course, would be the actual solid dispersed particulate phase. Okay, these when we say colloidal, quite often we mean the particles are big or fine, quite fine, in the on the order from 1 to 1,000 nanometer, which means below roughly 1 micron. We would say colloidal suspension. Otherwise, we would call them just the solid suspension in liquid. Okay, and the ceramic processing via suspension. Okay, the advantage over other ceramic processing, especially the shaping method such as dry or semi-dry powders, are very obvious. We would have the capability to process what? Relative complex shape, especially for these types of rigid, brittle material. Otherwise, how am I going to get this complex shape? If I do solid casting, it's almost impossible because this material, the melting temperature is extremely high. I don't have a good method to melt them and cast. Okay, I can slip cast. I can disperse the solid into a liquid phase and then shape them and then sinter or heat treat them to get the shape. Or I can get high aspect ratio. It's very difficult mechanically to press something into like 10, 20 microns, but I can do slip tape casting to get a thin layer. Okay. The other advantage is I would have so-called better microstructure control, especially in terms of the uniformity in the microstructure, because we are dealing with a hopefully uniform suspension, colloidal suspension, fine particle. Okay. However, because we are dealing with colloidal suspension, there are challenges or issues. The first one is gravity of the particles, causing what? Yeah, most of the ceramic particles are denser or having a density greater than your liquid, right? Your water is density of 1. Most ceramics have density higher than 1, right? Or not to mention the organic solvent, which most of them have density even lower than 1. Okay, and luckily for colloidal suspension, because their particles are small, less than 1 micron, the effect caused by gravity is less of an issue because when particles are very, very small, the Brownian motion, the knocking between the molecules, liquid molecules and the particles are quite often enough to suspend the particles to counteract the small gravity. Okay. But on the other hand, because they are very, very small, they would, the so-called natural attraction, the van der Waals force between the neighboring particles would cause them to naturally so-called flocculate. Smaller particles coming together become larger loose agglomerate. That's called flocculates or soft agglomerate. Okay, so initially you have uniformly well dispersed single colloidal particles, but after a while you find quickly the particles what? Yeah, after sonication, you let it sit. If you do not add any additives quite often, they quickly attach each other, and once they attach each other, they become heavier, relatively packed denser, and they drop to the bottom, causing sedimentation. So as a result, for colloidal suspension, we need so-called to introduce repulsive force. And we will talk about how to introduce repulsive force. An additional aspect of interest, rheology, which is the flow capability of your suspension, your slurry, or even if the solid loading is high, your paste. Okay, the rheology would be a very important part. How to control the flow capability. For this, we want a decent flow capability, decent viscosity, not too low, not too runny, which penetrate everywhere, right? But on the other hand, not too high that I cannot fill in the gaps. I want it to shape it. I do not want when I do slip casting like a thick honey or a thick peach, which doesn't flow at all. I do not want them. If I want a thin, relatively thin casted film, I do not want my viscosity to be too high. Otherwise, I cannot form a thin layer. Make sense? Rheology control is very important depending on your application. But on the other hand, if we wanted to do so-called extrusion, I do not want my paste to be too runny, right? I cannot form a shape. I extrude it out, everything collapses. Okay, and the other one is so-called electrophoresis. For some engineering application, people would use applying external electrical field to drive the charged particles within the suspension so that I can cause them to deposit selectively onto certain part in the system. Okay,